meeting is being live streamed. Okay, got it.
I should turn my volume off.
Okay. But yeah, then I don't think there's any.
Okay, we're live. Is Chris still there?
I think Chris went to get on his laptop.
Where can we be? Or that? Yeah, Carol, you're lighting up when you're talking on your laptop.
Okay.
So when you're talking, or when Mark, it's flipped into whoever's talking, so that looks like it's working.
Okay, so when we're standing here talking, because the idea is we don't hear it. People hear people talk in here, but you
Okay.
can hear us okay on the other side?
Yeah, it sounds, it's picking up on Mark's, like with the device itself.
I'm sorry, can you repeat
So-
that? It seems when I had my phone beside it was acting up. I didn't realize it.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Sorry, I'm just, the meeting's a few.
Okay, so we have the little kangaroo beside the TV, but it should probably be in the center of the floor, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be. And the actual sound is, it sounds good.
Okay,
Select the mode on the remote, and then I will flip through the actual like camera mode, so it will do like the top and bottom, or you can have specific.
that's a bit too many, I think. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, that's packed. Ooh.
So the one we really like is just the top and the bottom, so it shows like a 360-degree view, but just chopped down. So if you find that, we find.
What about that?
But it's really up to you guys.
What about, yeah, but what about just the one only? But we have to move it over there so we can see it, right?
Yeah, so that's, that one, you passed it, but, yeah, just pick whichever one is good, because it will select whoever it detects as talking, it will, zoom over to that person.
Okay. So we shouldn't expect it to act like a mic and amplify what we're saying. It'll just broadcast what we're saying onto sort of.
Yeah, I can do you through the actual YouTube and Zoom.
So Mark, we're gonna move this table and everything. You're gonna have to walk around the back. I'll walk around the back.
Okay, you take that, I'll move the table.
I think we put it in the middle of the floor, Chris, because Margaret's gonna be speaking, right? The chair. Like a rat's nest here now.
It really is.
Can you see it, Craig? What is the view that he sees?
Okay.
What does he say?
I think so you could see kind of what we're doing.
There he is. What can you
There
say?
you go, I'll show you what it's, flip camera. There you go, so.
Oh, it's time delayed, so hopefully that, yeah. So do you think we should have more than one screen? Now the picture is, it looks like it's doing the ceiling.
Yeah, so it's on a singular display. I'm not sure if you guys want to change that. But
I think
that
so.
will that stays as is.
Yeah, that's good like that, eh? They can see the board table. They can see,
Yeah,
the-
and then you can see people in the audience.
including those.
Yeah.
And should we center it? Do we need to center it at all for, because Margaret talks really softly. Okay. How's that? And with that table, it's- Okay, thanks a lot, Chris. Hopefully I don't, now should I go into my Zoom and expand the meeting? Because I've already taken up half an hour. I don't want to hunk out after.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, go ahead and just start it again whenever you want.
Oh, I don't know. We're just gonna leave it on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
We're-
are
we're
you,
next
I'm gonna
round.
call you if we need your help, okay?
Sounds good, Joe.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay,
Okay.
okay, that was quite the experience. Okay,
My gosh.
yeah, I know, it's not as simple as it sounds, eh?
No, it's
Now-
not.
Then I need to put my computer. I'm gonna run the computer for her. Right, because I think I have to bring it up on the Zoom. So I can run the computer. If I have to download her, because people on there have to download her PowerPoint and I'll run it from there when she speaks.
Gotcha.
And that's what I was trying to tell her, that I don't know, is she here yet?
She should be, she said she was gonna be here by 4:30. I'll see.
Okay.
And then will she be first up?
Right off the bat. Thank you, Mark. Hi, Daniela.
Why, hello.
I'm Carol, but I have to run the PowerPoint.
Nice to finally meet you, by the way.
Oh, yeah, nice to meet you.
I'm happy to be able to put a lot of faces.
Sorry, one of my comments is wrong, so.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, do you have another drumstick?
I don't have a chopstick. Do you guys have one? Let's stick with that. I don't, Tina might have one.
I might have one in the office.
Yeah, I just have to.
Yeah, you like said something thumb drive, and I was like, what is that? Thumb drive? You guys, you?
All right. So what you can do is I'm gonna stand behind the screen right now, and you can just go and you just sit at the front, stand up, you can screen, whatever you want.
Okay,
And then and then you tell me, next slide, please.
okay,
You know,
it's pretty straightforward.
yeah.
Perfect.
If you want to be able to, like, her, we should make sure she was maybe stand here or do. Yeah.
As long as there's no one standing behind me, so I can get
Yeah.
green.
Let me show personal credit share. Is Geraldine all right?
I haven't seen Joe.
Oh, okay, Geraldine and Robert Ross.
Oh,
Two Roberts.
wow, nice.
There's a bunch of core company stuff on here.
Oh.
Look at all the stuff.
Really
on
good
here.
people. Report comments.
The grad years, 2016.
All right, Joe. What's it called?
It's NGA board meeting. It's PowerPoint.
NG.
I'm just gonna keep it in.
And then is it supposed to broadcast something?
Yeah. What I'm going to do. And I get out of my email, it's gonna go one more time.
That's mine right now, so if I have the computer hooked up to the TV, then I'm like, what is that sound for them?
Getting.
And then today in particular, it just wouldn't stop us, like, something. It's too popular. Okay, so
There's no, is there any kind of?
There we go, yeah, now it's sure. Perfect.
There's no volume or anything in here, is there?
No, there's no sound. There is in the right-hand corner of the screen, is that icon of a human. I don't know how we get rid of that.
I don't know, that's the little man.
Also, we can't get rid of that.
He's like a participant.
Uh,
Yeah, you know, I think like, I'm just gonna, all my stuff here.
Anyway, I think we're good to go. Eh?
Are you staying for the meeting?
I'll stay for sure to introduce Danielle.
You want to introduce Margaret? I can get Margaret to introduce you, and you can introduce her.
Yeah, very fun.
Yeah, because I think after her notes, I just put down a little word that Danielle had given me, but if you'd like.
MGA highlights.
So she's going to go through welcome of the territory, and she's going to talk about why we come here, and she's going to introduce these people. Talk about this is the last board meeting, and then she has Daniela Melanson, MGA teacher, will share a PowerPoint entitled MGA Highlights, which showcases our school community both inside and out. But then she can just introduce you.
She could, and I could do that whole spiel, or
Yeah.
if she likes, she could do that spiel too, and that's.
No, it'd be nice to introduce you. So introduce Mark Newberry.
Okay.
Oops. Hopefully she doesn't get it wrong. Hello, Rob.
Hello.
Bringing in the big guns to watch.
We got everything ready to go. We even got the TV working.
Thank you very much.
Danielle
I had to stop at HSS for.
Not a problem.
chat.
Daniela, this is Rob Shibley. He's our
Hello.
director of
Sorry, I missed
facility.
your name.
Daniela.
Hi, Danielle.
Nice to meet you.
He's our director of facility services. Takes care of all the buses. the
Meeting
buildings.
everyone today.
There's
There'll be a test on these names later.
Probably.
That's
I'll be gone by then. Just slither out the
There's a
door.
meeting down the hallway. Have you found it?
No, okay, in the first hall by the library?
I like
these. That's the teacher.
Yeah.
Amy.
Yeah, we gotta pull Marie's plaque off your door and get a new one up.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna ask, is it Gwen that made those traditional like button blanket laminated things at everyone's door?
I believe so, yeah.
Because there's some teachers that don't have one. I would like to have one.
Yeah.
That could be really fun.
Yeah, typically, like, because I think everybody's got a name, right? And I think
Yes.
typically what they would do is, for a while, we've done that this year, the welcome feast, and then which new teachers are welcome, they give a name.
That would be fun. I feel like, I think Gwen talked about doing a feast. And I know that they have like a breakfast feast at the high school, but my dad brought up a really good point where he was like, 'cause I don't think my dad's ever been to a feast. So he was like, had no idea what to do.
Protocols, yeah.
And so that might be something to touch base with the teachers first. I feel like I might be the only one that hasn't been to one in a while. But maybe a run through with the staff before we actually do the school one.
Yeah, you know, the school one's very pretty informal, because it's all, it doesn't follow all of these protocols.
But at least we know what to enforce or like,
Yeah, you like, it should actually be quiet, eat everything served.
yeah, like no clapping and no hats kind of deal.
Exactly, yeah.
His dad was like, I didn't know what to tell these kids what to do. He's like, because they've never been to one. I was like, oh, grandma, I'm sure you are like. But it's like me too, like, and the kids have a hard time understanding. I was like, it's the Emperor Station, but not kids had guys. Like, I sit at the guest table and they're like, what? Like, don't you have plans? And I was like, no, we don't. You're like, oh. She's learning her for everybody. Oh, I can't wait for like mid-November to be over. Burgers are over,
Yeah.
almost over.
Yeah. September through November is a bad for everybody.
It's just like a blur.
That's right.
Yeah, like we have a meeting lady in Smithers for the senior rows, and we have two employees in the zone.
What was hosting themselves?
Smithers. And we're going to Smithers, so our zones are the same as the senior. Because there's very little double meetings. Oh, my girls are gonna be like around a bunch of teachers. We are not there. There's fun, should put my stuff in the.
Yeah, you just come to chair.
No one can sit, no one's gonna sit in the middle, no one ever sits.
There you go.
And now you want to come and stand at the front right there where I was? It's just so they can see you on the screen.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put the stuff here. So.
And then when, just give me a second to get it in slide mode. And then you just say, next slide, please, or don't go too fast, Carol, or whatever. Yeah.
And right to the
This is
washer.
for me to take minutes.
So they can move from the library into here or some of the people? Okay.
You can join them if you want.
I was gonna run to the washroom.
I have an extra one in my backpack.
Oh, that's okay. I see you see that little blur.
Yeah, just take a picture.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Okay.
Well said.
you want something to eat? We have sandwiches, we have sushi.
Gosh, I'll wait till after, but thank you.
Okay. You need a pop or anything? Cookie, chocolate?
Oh, okay, chocolate.
Okay, I'm just gonna get my notes ready. What time is it? Oh my God, we're getting close to touchdown.
I know I was gonna like walk to the library. I was like, you know, I feel like I should like stroll on the cheap.
I know.
Before they're probably done.
Oh,
Like, hey, look,
I
look,
got another thing. Good one, like this.
I feel like they'll be awesome a lot.
So, do you need us to stick around and help clean up?
No. Oh, yes, sorry, remind me. I can do that, but I don't. Do that?
Okay, so you'll say, and I'll say yay or nay, and I'll do a little, I'll vote.
Okay.
Just say,
Okay, we're now live, by the way, so we will get started and we'll work with the techie challenges that we have to welcome everybody to the last trustee meeting of your current trustees that you have, because the election is over now and the new trustees will be coming in November. I'd like to start by giving thanks and acknowledge the lands on which we work, learn, and play are the traditional territories of the Gitxsan, Haisla, Nisga'a, and Tsimshian peoples. We're honored to work with their children and privileged to live on these lands. We're delighted to be here in Hazelton and meeting with you, and welcome to our guests that are here for the meeting. We welcome questions at the end of the meeting. Usually they're put in ahead of time, but dialogue is good. We're going to have some interesting dialogue with our trustees who could not attend because their picture is not up on the screen. So we're going to have to rely on their voice.
They can hear us and see us.
They can hear us and they can see us. So we all have to behave ourselves that way. But I'll start by introducing you to your board. I'm Margaret Warcliffe and I'm the chair of your trustees.
I'm Hoodle, I'm in Harrison, trustee from Terrace.
Karen?
Hello, Karen Yonkman. I'm the trustee from Kitimat.
Sandy?
Hello, everybody. I am Sandy Watson, outgoing trustee for Thornhill. My apologies for being there tonight, but I am sick and didn't want to spread it around to everybody else.
Angela?
Hello, I'm Angela Brandon-User. I'm the outgoing trustee from Stewart.
Shar?
Hello, I'm the outgoing I'm Shar McCrory, outgoing trustee for Hazelton, and apologies, I can't be there in person as well. Thanks.
Okay. Can I turn to our superintendent to introduce himself and his staff?
Hi, everyone. I'm Aaron Callahan and new superintendent. This is my second board meeting. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm going to let my staff introduce themselves and I'll start right at the front table and then we'll work our way across.
good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julia Nakaz. I'm Director of Instruction, Learner Support, and I'm just standing in for Ginger Fuller, Secretary Treasurer. I'll pass it over to Robert.
Robert Clifton, Director of Instruction for Indigenous Education.
Geraldine Lawler, Director of Instruction for Recreation.
I'm Rob Shirley, and I'm the Director of Facilities.
Thank you. So I'd like to extend some regrets for our other directors and our district principal who is unable to attend tonight, as well as Raymond Raj, who is also a trustee, unable to attend his last meeting after many, many years as being a trustee. Tonight is our last meeting of the regular board, and the new board has been proclaimed to move forward and be installed in November. On behalf of our school district, I have the privilege of thanking our outgoing trustees. And I'll start with, I was going to start with Raymond Raj because he's had 5 years or 5 terms as a trustee, which takes him from 2005 to now, his last meeting. And I know talking to him on the phone, he's very regretful that he could not attend tonight because he is very dedicated to public education. And on that behalf, we do have from our Provincial Association of Trustees, whoops, wrong one, it's at the bottom, certificates for each of those that are retiring. Well, and some of us too who are staying, and pins with the little apple on it celebrating that we're here to serve for public education and the students that we serve. So Raymond will receive his 5 terms of dedicated services certificate and pins, and I will personally deliver them to him because I'm very appreciative of the work that he's done for our school district. Second longest one is Angela Brandon-User, who's we don't have the picture on the screen, who is now going to be the mayor of Stewart after this election. And she's retiring after 2 terms where she has served with myself 2 terms. And also prior, in between times, she was mayor and then she was a trustee earlier than that. So she has really dedicated much time, effort, and energies to public education. So for her, we also have a certificate and pin. So thank you, Angela. Next, we have trustee Shar McCrory, who represents the Hazelton area, and she's been your trustee since 2014 till tonight. And she also expresses her apologies for not being able to get back here from Prince George, and we wish that she continues to be healing because she hasn't been feeling very well. But I know she's dedicated to your community and has put many efforts forward to serve our children and our educators in our schools. I also have pins and a certificate for her, and hopefully I can get over to Prince George, maybe deliver them, Shar, for you. And not last, but Sandy Watson, who's chosen to step down this year and go on to other initiatives, which I know will take up a lot of her time. She's leading a whole bunch of drama stuff in Terrace, and I'm getting quite excited about what the work she's doing with youth to have that happen. She's served since 2016 up until just recently stepping down and not running in this election. And I have a pin and certificate for her. So I would like to finish that by saying just extreme appreciation for the colleagues, trustees that I've been able to work with for the last couple of terms, and I'm honored to continue on that way. So thank you. I wish I could see their faces. We do have a presentation prior to starting our meeting, and I asked Mark to introduce the presentation, if you would please.
So a bit of history about our presenter. Back in the early 90s, when French immersion was brought into MGA, her father was started teaching in the school just down the hallway. And last year, Daniela joined us and is currently teaching in the same room that her dad taught in. And of course, Daniela is also an alumni of the school. She graduated from MGA. She has put together a PowerPoint presentation entitled MGA Highlights, which is really a fantastic showcasing of the great work that our school community is involved in really each day. So, Danielle Watson.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Rivera. The other piece too is I teach grade 2, 3, 4 French immersion, so I have literally come full circle to what my dad did, so living on the legacy here at MGA. Before I begin, for those that don't know, MGA stands for Magasins et Galenax, which translates into Flowers of the Rivers. And so that's the sign that we have on the front of the school. And then this beautiful piece back here on the stage is a representation of that, which was a collaboration piece between 3 First Nation artists. Really beautiful piece, and so I'm going to really speak to the different pieces that we have through the school. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Here's some music.
It's all good. So to go over a few of the goals that we have, our focus this year has been to create a more welcoming and positive environment for our students and staff, particularly after COVID. It's been nice to kind of get transition into the things that we were able to do for that. We wanted to enhance our ways to be even more inclusive for staff and students. We are reaching our goals by having updated our bulletin boards, rewarding students for positive choices, and expanding our sense of community and belonging within and outside the school. And inclusive instructional strategies in our classrooms, such as pushing supports in, and also creating more opportunities for heterogeneous groups. The month of September, we really focused on how every child matters. The feathers that the students had colored have been colored and laminated for I don't know how many years now, but those are the pieces that were done by Michelle Stoney. And so in the previous years, there have been different ways that we've represented the feathers on the board. And this year we chose a silhouette of a child blowing them and then just kind of feathering off into the wind. For Orange Shirt Day, we were given the opportunity to give each child an opportunity to actually wear an orange shirt. And so with that and with no restrictions, we all took a group picture this year We had every child that was in attendance on that day on the 29th of September to our Orange Shirt and took group pictures together. So pretty awesome to see everyone here at MGA supporting wearing orange for kids. I don't know if you noticed on your way, and I know there's lots of really great things happening in the hallways. This is one of our biggest things that we've done this year is our showcase for the month of September. Again, it was Every Child Matters. And so the idea of the showcase is that every division is given the chance to create something with the students and to display into the showcase. And so for the month of November, we have a really great plaque with veterans on it that will be displayed in there, and then we will invite each division to create something to put into that showcase. Across from the showcase is our talking wall. This is quite a popular wall, particularly for our primary students. Now, the biggest piece that we find is most successful with this is if you look at the bottom left there, there's the box there that has the buttons. When it's feeling in the right mood, if you push one of those buttons, it'll actually sing songs that are sung by our very own Dr. Jane Smith. Another thing that we've started this year are exam virtues. And so every month there's a different virtue that we follow and we teach within our classrooms. For the month of September, it was patience. And so from each division, a student is chosen and a staff is chosen, displayed on the board. This month will be October, which is responsibility. And then in November, we will move into peace. This is something that we've really gotten into this week. Now, if you look at that, that says Zawana, which means clever ones. And the reason that we chose Zawana is because there is no Gitxsan translations for way to go. And so what happens is you'll see it in the later slide. If we catch students doing something positive or kind for others, clever ones, yes, thank you. A teacher or any staff can give it to a student, they write their name on it. They walk that little yellow card to the green box you guys saw at the front, and then we will do a draw at the end of every month. So on Friday, we will draw 4 students, and then their little yellow cards will go there, and then they'll receive a little reward to take home with them. On the right, we have our MGA news and events. Another really great thing that we've started this year is we have volleyball going on for the 5, 6, 7s once a week. We are looking into hopefully having a game with the Newtown and Kiscout School because they also have volleyball. Really get back to things that I know that I did back in my day, aging myself a little. And then we have updating and current events that are coming. And at the bottom, as you can see, there are birthdays. Monsieur Paquette had to forgive us because we did forget his, but it's on there now. So we have staff and students on there. It's tomorrow and it's on there. So we just really wanted to find all of these different ways to excite the students, even just walking down the hallway. Again, going back to that cultural piece throughout our school, here we have the 2 totem poles. On the left, from my understanding, is the Terry Fox totem pole. Yes. And then on the right, we have the Magatzele, and in the middle, we have the photographs of the elders. And the symbolism behind it is that our elders are watching us. On the right, too, we have a piece that was done by Michelle Stoney, which is dedicated to honor the residential school survivors. One of the teachers, if you see the pictures all around it, did a really great piece with her students, reflecting on why a specific residential school survivor would almost be triggered by that piece. So it was really great to hear them have the ideas of, you know, maybe it was that piece of not feeling welcome, right, or unsafe. And that's really what we've taken into account this year with how we're trying to create the hallways for our students. We have our school-wide bulletin board. And so for September, October, every class read the book, The Dot. And then with that, each class kind of did an art piece with it. So we put that on the board. The theme was make your mark and see where it takes you. And then again, for the month of November, we're going to read what does peace look like and kind of see what every teacher wants to come up with that and have it displayed on our artboard there. In terms of community, we've already had a lot of really great things, even though we're 6 weeks in. We had our annual Terry Fox run and we were able to fundraise $708.60 for the Terry Fox Foundation. When we get our box of tattoos, we get a t-shirt and we usually get a youth t-shirt. And so what we've done is whatever class raises the most money, they do a draw within that class to see which student will get it. This year, it was this class, and this girl in particular came first out of the entire grade 3, I think the 3s did it. The grade 2s to grade 7s did run, she came first, so it was only fitting that she got the t-shirt this year. And then on the right, we have PAC that's actually going to be putting on a Halloween fun night. It's probably kind of one of the first things we've had probably in a really long time where we're able to invite families in and do something really fun and collaborative. So there's going to be dance, cupcake decorating, spooky crafts and games for the families to come and join us this Friday. So if you guys are around, feel free to pop in. Next slide. Again, with the community, so on the left is the K1 French immersion class. The Hazelton District Library had their open house just this past week, and so both my class and her class went for a visit. It's pretty surprising the amount of students that have never actually been to the library, so it was a really great opportunity to show the students what we have available for them. On the right is actually my own little peanut. That's at Sendon Garden, which is not too far from the high school. So last year, my class went and helped plant vegetables, and so we were invited back this year to go and pick potatoes. And each student was actually allowed to take 10 pounds of potatoes home with them, along with visiting all of the other pieces of Sendon. So we came home with quite a load of grown vegetables. Some of the other things too is we have a community row at the hospital community garden. Again, so we plant potatoes and carrots every year, and then we go and pick them the following year. One of the classes went to Rocky Rose Ranch, where they were able to interact with different animals, particularly the horses. I heard they enjoyed. And then the Stream to Sea program, we actually have that set up in the 6-7 class. So we just got our eggs last week, and so my class is collaborating with the 6-7 class, and we'll monitor temperatures, and we'll have the fish grow until the spring, and then the end goal is to release them back into the creek that we've cleared. So lots of really great things happen. This is the K1 teacher that shared this particular piece with me, the French immersion teacher. She's been doing a lot of really great work with teaching the students how to harness different feelings, and the theme that she did last week was cry. And the reason that we wanted to share this is because after she had talked to the students about it, one of the students went to another one and was like, wow, I'm actually really proud of the art that you did all by yourself. Super unprompted, coming from a 6-year-old. And so that was the first dawana that she was able to give out. So it's really great to see not just us recognizing pride and success in students, but students also seeing it in other students. We have a lot of really great success in our numeracy and literacy right now. We feel, although we might not be at that line where everyone wants us to be, we see a lot of really great growth. And this is both K1 classes do these sort of stations. So they have the technology piece going with boom cards. They have manipulatives, we have whiteboards. And so it's really great to have the students learning in that play-based way, but also being able to do it independently. So if you go to animated laminating, yes, lots of laminating, but at the end of the day, the joy and the success they have is worth it. So it's really great too, because the slide before this was the K1 class, and this is actually my class, the grade 2, 3, 4. So it's able to really show you that stations don't have to be specific to K1, and I have just as much success in my 2, 3, 4 class as the K1s do. You can see they're all having fun. They're playing games together, doing puzzles. Again, lots of laminating, but the smiles are worth it. And then if we segue into the next slide, the math program that I was actually using in that previous one is the same one that the grade 6-7 teacher is using. So going across from K to 7 is really great to see that we're able to use that, and that within our school too, that we are all using the same language and the same style of teachings. And then it's even really great because I teach French and this teacher teaches English. So it's not language specific. We're able to adjust it to whatever class that we're actually teaching. Yeah. A lot of other exciting things that we're doing. The grade 2, 3 English class actually has pen pals with the grade 2, 3 class from Kispiox. And so they just recently exchanged their first letters. And from my understanding, they're also going to go visit that school. So they're able to see what another school looks like. My class is also doing pen pals, but ours are actually from Elliott Lake, Ontario, which is also really close to where Monsieur Puckett, I guess, grew from. So it's really great to see all these connections being made. The picture that I chose, the first letters that we got, they actually sent us tattoos and stickers. And so if you ever take a look in my class, you'll see lots of those everywhere. And then our letters were sent with District of Hazelton pins. So really exciting to see the kids get excited about receiving mail that, you know, even though they can't read. One of the girls got a picture and said, "I love you." And she was like, yeah, like never met before, but right, they're just really excited about getting something, right? That's the part. So a lot of exciting things. Next slide. So I like to say that we have 4 languages here at MGA. Again, if you have the chance to really walk through the hallways, you'll see a lot of French Kitsanama and English. We have all of our plaques there, like Lights Lumière, and I can't pronounce the word for Lights in Kitsanama. I chose Miss Jagir's little button blanket label that she has, so the hope is that by the end of the year, all teachers have that, as they were all given a name at the welcome piece that they had before. And I know that even though I'm a teacher, you're probably a little worried because they said 4 languages, and that's only 3, which brings me to our next slide. We've really segued into ASL as well. We have a student who just recently received her cochlear implants, so she's hard of hearing. And so we really want to push that inclusivity piece. So this was the first board that we had just outside the gym here. And if you continue on to the next slide, this is what the K1 teacher has in the class that the student is in right now. And so it's a way to show the students that there are different ways, you know, for the E, the F, the G. And then she also shared with me that every Tuesday her class does a ASL class online on Zoom. And so it's also teaching the students how important it is to be inclusive, and that, you know, it's actually really fun to be learning a new language, even though they probably don't really understand that they're learning a new language. At our last staff meeting too, all teachers attended a session. So it's not just her class that's learning about these things, it's the school as a whole. So coming to a school near you, although it's not as appealing, the picture on the left is our garden. And so that's actually just outside my window there. So we have 7 garden boxes out there. You can't see the 2 concrete pads behind the garden boxes, but the idea is that when it's finished, we'll have 2 picnic tables on each concrete pad. So it'll be our outdoor learning space. So we've been really anxious and excited to have that finished, and we're really excited to see how it gets used. On the right too, as you can tell, that's actually a wooden structure. So I don't know how many of those are around anymore. And so we're actually very excited to be getting a new park. The hope is that it's put in next year. And so the idea behind that too is that it's wheelchair accessible. And then one of the parks that we've chosen actually has special slides that don't give off as much static. So our students with the cochlear implants aren't affected in that way as well. So going back to that inclusivity piece. And then last but not least, our biggest success, and this was shared among staff, not myself, is that we are excited to celebrate that for the 2nd year in a row that we have fully certified staff. So just as a unicorn, we are very rare and beautiful. So that's why we chose the unicorn to go there. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Daniela, thank you very, very much. Yes. Any questions or comments from trustees or anybody? Great, thank you very much. That was very informative.
I
Sorry.
say I was drawn into every aspect of that presentation, and love the notion of 4 languages and that whole inclusive. And I've seen that in action when I was here in that K1 class, and had a chance at the end of the day today to speak to the other K1 teacher, and she spoke around the literacy and numeracy learning that they're doing as a team, and I was very excited by the work that was being done in there and throughout the rest of the school. So congratulations, and
thank you.
yeah, thank you for sharing all of that.
Thank you. So before we start the regular meeting for October 26th, I'd like to thank Mark and his team for hosting us in your school and welcoming us. And I did get a chance to walk the hallways and see some great posters you've just shared. So thank you.
I apologize. I'm going home and I'm putting this in on.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, drive carefully. Yeah. Thank you for those that could attend. Yeah. So for trustees that are in on Zoom, we can't see you, so you're going to have to use your voices to tell me whether you make the motions or second the motions or have any questions. And Julia's going to help me try and monitor who's coming in and out. So I would like to start our meeting or call our meeting to order and acknowledge again our territories in which we are living, breathing, learning, playing, and being honored to work with children and privileged to live on the lands of the Kitsam, Haisla, Nisga'a, and Tsimshian peoples. We have a quorum of the trustees attending, and we would like to have a motion for 2.1 for the appointment of an acting secretary treasurer for our regular meeting of October 26, 2022. May I have somebody move that motion, please?
Margaret, it's Shar. I'll move the motion.
Ed and Shar, thank you. All in favor? Anybody object? Speak up loud. Okay, passed. We have an agenda in front of us. I've heard of no additions or changes. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please? Someone speak?
It's Karen.
Karen, second.
Yeah.
I'll second it. This is Angela.
Thank you, Angela. All in favor, speak up if you're not. Passed. We move to 4.1, approval of the minutes of the prior meeting, which was September 28th, 2022. May I have a motion to accept, please?
This is Angela. I'll move it.
Ed and Angela, thank you. Any objections? Speak up. Passed. We also require a motion for the receipt of the records of the in-camera meeting held September 28th, 2022. Someone speak?
It's Karen.
Ed?
I'll move it.
Karen, thank you. This is awkward, I know. but
It's Shar. I'll second.
Thanks, Shar. All in favor? Passed. Thank you. There was no business arising from the minutes to report. And under item number 7, there was no correspondence received. So we can move to the Superintendent of Schools monthly report for October 2022. Would you like to speak to your report?
Sure, yes, yep. So the superintendent's report to the board for October 2022. Speak to a few things in the report. The first is, as the month of October, we were met with the month of October, we recognized that it was the National Principal and Vice Principals Month. So that in conjunction with October 5th was acknowledged as World Teachers Day, and Coast Mountain School District extended their thanks to all of our educators in our system for their commitment and investment in the lives of our students. I'd also like to highlight from an opening message that it's an exciting thing in that we have a new website that is under development. So it's exciting to our team, but it's also just to highlight the fact that it is a communication tool that will be geared towards our public. And so the work that's going into the development of that website right now is really looking at the content of the site to ensure that it's meeting the needs of the public audience. And that public audience, of course, are parents and community members in our communities, but also to prospective teachers and families that will be moving into the Coast Mountains District. The end goal of that work is to have an improved end user experience for folks that are coming to our new site. Also, as as our chair has acknowledged, extending my thanks to our outgoing trustees, Shar, Raymond, Angela, and Sandy, just passing that along. Thanks to each of them for their efforts and commitments in their years of service with our school district. Part of regular communication, I feel, as superintendent, will be information that will be sharing the work that our district is engaged in with our implementation of our strategic plan. And as probably a lot of people know, our strategic plan really was just launched at the very end of the 2021-22 school year. So last month and this month, part of the superintendent's report, I think, is still continuing to try to build that understanding around the system plan so that people are aware of the goals and some of the work that will be undertaken over the next 5 years. In this month's report, we've tried to draw attention to some of the big buckets of work around the 3 goal areas. The first goal area around all students realizing their full potential. The second goal area is honoring and respecting culture, diversity, and inclusion. And the third goal area is facilitating well-being across the school district. So in this report, we've acknowledged some of the big buckets of work that we will undertake as a system to meet the goals of the strategic plan. And we've also taken a moment to identify some of the key indicators. And so the indicators are those tools and measures that we'll use to identify over time the progress that we're making with the work that we're undertaking in the district. So I took a moment to acknowledge the updates around our website. The report is also a chance to share a little bit about our use of social media. And I'm looking around the room, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say, to some extent, almost everybody in this room uses social media. Our district is trying to grow our presence with social media. And so to that end, we're expanding on our use of Twitter. We've used Twitter over the last couple of years. We have a Facebook account, and we're also starting to use Instagram. And the purpose of us having multiple platforms is to try to best meet the needs of people, again, we want to share some of our messages with. And messages might be key district communications, but also using social media platforms to share some of the stories of things that are happening in our schools. I think everyone tonight that had a chance to see all of the successes that are happening in this very school, we want to be able to use the same social media platforms along with schools to celebrate some of the successes and some of the excellence that's really being undertaken within our schools. So to that end, a pitch to please choose your favorite platform and follow Coast Mountain School District so that we can expand and grow. Also in this report, just a couple of last items. We've shared a little bit of an update on the October consultation process around the Provincial Student and Family Affordability Fund. And as a refresher, at the very end of August, 1st of September, the provincial government announced $500,000 to our school district to help support meeting the needs of families, really around a couple of target areas, around expenses for their children related to school supplies and school fees, but also it was really targeting food security. So I would say that from October 3rd to October 21st, we had a variety of consultations that happened virtually, and also we used an online discussion management tool called Thought Exchange. And in the online tool itself, we had over 300 people participate, and they not only gave us their own ideas around how that fund should be allocated, but they also interacted with the other several hundred folks' ideas that came forward. And so in total, there were over 6,000 ratings that were applied to the several hundred comments that were made by the people who participated. So all that said, as it was a consultative process, the online exchange has ended. We've taken the information to the district leadership level, and we're now looking through the feedback to try to make some decisions that align with the suggestions that have come through the consultation. So in the next 2 weeks, those funds, all of the decisions around the allocation of that $500,000 will be decided. And that information will be shared with our schools so that they in turn can share with their families. And we've committed to also send out a communication to all our partners and everyone that participated to the best of our knowledge through the consultative process, so they are also aware of the decisions that were made based on that consultation. So I think from my lens, very happy with the engagement that we had through our online meetings and through that online tool. So thank you to those that participated. One of our last items is around teacher recruitment. And it's not a secret that teacher recruitment and growing our own teachers in Coast Mountain School District is a priority for our district. I think we heard in that presentation the celebration of a school that has fully qualified staff. And we want to get to a point through hard work where that's not something we celebrate anymore. It's something that is standard that we have in all our schools. And so to that end, it is a priority. Teacher recruitment and all staff recruitment is a priority. So we are now in the planning stages for career fairs, virtual information sessions with universities, and both virtual and in-person fairs to try to do our very best to recruit the best teachers that are out there across the country and potentially beyond to come to our school district to support our students and families in our schools. In conjunction with that, we are also having conversations with local universities around programming opportunities for individuals that are already in our communities and have a vested interest in our communities because they live here. A final thought, something that we want to still do in the superintendent's report, and I say we, I probably mean me, because I guess that's my job, is to continue to celebrate some of the stories. There are a few images that are captured that have actually come from our social media stories that we're sharing. And a couple I would like to highlight is just local here to the Hazeltons. One is the not unlike what we saw in the presentation, the school garden experience at Kitwanga Elementary School. One of the most amazing school gardens I've seen, and to be at that school and to participate with students in the harvesting of the gardens was a great experience for me. I really appreciated that. Felt very fortunate to be there. As did I last week when I participated in the training feast that happened at Hazelton Secondary School. And that, by all accounts, was a huge success for the students and staff and communities served by Hazelton Secondary School. So tried to capture a little bit of that, both online as well as within the superintendent's report.
Great, thank you very much. If I could have a motion to accept and receive the superintendent's report as presented. Someone so move? Yeah.
It's Karen.
Karen, thank you for seconding. Anybody object? Passed. Thank you. Next, we move on to the Indigenous Education Report. And with your permission, I'd like to ask Robert to present his report. Yeah.
Thank you, Margaret. It's my honor to present my second report as the incoming Director of Instruction for Indigenous Education. I can say that as with September, the month of October has been extremely engaging, at times overwhelming, with a lot of keen interest and a sense of urgency in the work, along with the high expectation that I have for myself to be engaged and meet the needs of all the stakeholders who are wanting to invest in our Indigenous learners. So I have several highlights to share with you that has happened over the past month. Some of these were mentioned in my previous report, but we have with the Kitsillas Nation and Caledonia found a way to honor the cultural learning hours that are done outside school and found a way to credit and create course credits for them in Caledonia. The same thing will be done for Hazelton Secondary. Meeting with Kissan will be happening in November so that we can find a way to honor the students who are involved with culture at Kissan. Ongoing conversations are happening across with several education coordinators, and more will be happening around developing locally developed courses that will count for provincial graduation. We applied and made an application to the Ministry of Education to become a community of practice that takes a look at data that humanizes student success in a way that helps us understand and create a model for equity, pedagogy, and school transformation. The school that we put forward was Hazelton Secondary, and I'm happy to say that we were one of 10 school districts that were chosen to do this work. So a team from Hazelton, along with the Director of Instruction and Superintendent and myself, will be joining the community of practice. I've been in conversations with the current resource clerks that are at the Indigenous resource centers that previously were visioned for educator use and contained resources, mostly print, to be shared so that teachers had access to resources as they were lifting up Indigenous education. The current conversations is how we can invigorate these spaces and turn them into active learning hubs that honor culture, language, elder knowledge, and spaces for community. So those conversations are ongoing and will then extend to also the education coordinators from each of the areas. A meeting with Aaron and I to connect with Colleen Austin, who has had a multi-year contract around Indigenous language revitalization in the district, to understand the scope of her work and action plan and deliverables was held. Further conversation is happening tomorrow to clarify and identify any ongoing work that she will continue to undertake related to her current contract. And like I said before, the engagement has been intense. I've had over 28 meetings this past month with stakeholders as I continue to understand the challenges of the district and the opportunities in that are present, and the people who are showing up to do the work alongside as we continue to lift up Indigenous education as a shared responsibility. It's my priority to be in the community and in schools as much as possible, and I can say that it's ongoing commitment, and it's what keeps me in this work is the relationships that I am building. I'm happy to say that we have 2 new hires that have just recently started work in the last 3 weeks in Hazelton Secondary School. We have 1 vacancy left, which was being interviewed for today. And I hope that we have a fully intact team of Indigenous support workers at Hazelton Secondary School now. We've also hired 3 new casual Indigenous support workers for Terrace. At our last education committee, which included the territorial rights holders, we were notified that they are going to be reactivating an intertribal committee, which was, I believe, around in 2012. And we look forward to understanding the scope of their work and the aims they have as we develop opportunities to work together with that community, with our aim on focusing greater impact and success for Indigenous learners. Aaron and I had the chance to go to Hazelton Secondary School for the training feast that was held. Nicodane, Francis Sampson, who was Kitsap Hereditary Chief, along with community members, had a feast in honor of the students. It is the first feast that has been held in that school in the last 20 years. It was very heartwarming to see the amount of generosity and the learning that the students and the respect that was given during that during the feast. In the last 10 days, we have had a consultant come in and work with myself. Her name is Kathy Sawchuk, and she is a retired superintendent, but is the current Indigenous leadership facilitator for the BC Superintendents Association, and has worked extensively with Indigenous communities, both in British Columbia and abroad, and in New Zealand. And Kathy has been helping me in guiding and assessing and creating a work plan for myself as I continue to envision my work ahead of me. We also engaged in a 2-day Ministry of Education and Childcare visit. A 3-way meeting was hosted in Kitimat for the Gittimat First Nation and the Gitxsan Government Commission, as well as Ministry of Education representatives, to receive their concerns with everyone at the table. The meeting outlined areas for improvement, and it was a very hopeful conversation in moving ahead of how we are going to work together to address the areas that they put forward to us. A follow-up meeting will be held with all 3 agencies together in the spring. And finally, the day before yesterday, we began our first principals and vice principals shared learning circle to support ongoing learning for administrators related to culturally responsive and respectful leadership. And the book that we're using to anchor this learning is Joe Crono's Waiwa, Indigenous Pedagogies, an Act for Reconciliation and Anti-Racist Education. And that circle was received very well, and I am looking forward to working alongside colleagues. Philip Barron, the district principal, and our directors of instruction and superintendent are also at those circles, and we are learning together. Thank you for this time to share my very busy month.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to receive the information from the Indigenous Education Report for October 2022?
Angela.
Angela, thank you. Seconder?
Shar.
Any questions or comments?
Can I just ask Robert, what is the turnaround time for the first item on your report for getting credits for cultural learning within the schools, within the community, for students? Like, how long will it take to make that come to fruition?
Can you repeat the question again? I missed that first part.
Sure, sorry about that. So course credits for cultural learning within Cal and HSS. So you're starting that discussion. How long will how long will the process take to make that actually come to fruition and for students to be able to access that? Will it be this year? Is it 3 years? Do you know?
Yes, it will be this year. That kind of recognition can actually happen really quickly. It's the hours received for specific courses. So for example, career education also can account for some of those hours, and those students can be recognized for that. So it's a pretty quick turnaround time.
Thank you for that. And I'd just like to add, thank you for all the good work you're doing. I'm very excited and really appreciate you moving forward the district in a very positive way with the students at the forefront. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Char.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll move forward to the standing committee reports. 10.1 is the business committee report, and we're kind of putting Trustee Ed on the spot because, but I think we can cope with going ahead. Ed?
Okay, the business meeting was held on September 21st, 2022. Trustee Margaret Warcup was the chair of that meeting, and Raj was sick. And I would move that the minutes of that meeting be accepted.
Seconder, please.
Angela.
Karen.
Sorry.
Karen, thank you. All in favor? Any objections? Speak up. Angela, we now have your picture on the screen for some reason. That's great. Welcome. Hearing no objections, it's passed. 10.12. Thank you, Ed.
The Ministry of Education Data Management 701 ECHO report. dated September the 30th, 2022 for Coast Mountain School District details the preliminary student head count and student full-time equivalent, the FTE count, for funding purposes as of September the 29th, 2022. Public school districts were required to submit their 1701 preliminary reports on October the 7th, 2022 to the Ministry of Education. The information collected on Form 1701 is used in the calculation of the FTE students for public schools. The FTE values are then used to determine funding levels for these schools. This information is also used to monitor various enrollment trends and programs offered by British Columbia, the British Columbia school system. The Ministry of Education then processes the 1701 preliminary data received and provides school districts with an ECHO report detailing any potential errors for resolution. School districts must then provide any resolutions by October the 21st, 2022 to the ministry for the completion of the 1701 verification report and final sign-off. The business committee discussed the preliminary report at its October 12th, 2022 meeting and forwards to the board for information. The action that is recommended that the board receive for information the Ministry of Education Data Management 1701 preliminary report reflecting students eligible for funding as of September the 29th, 2022.
Can I have a seconder for that recommended action?
It's actually a motion, point of clarification. Thanks. And I'll second it. Thank you.
Thanks, Shar. Any questions? Any objections? Pass. We now move to 10.2, the Education Committee report, and I move to Trustee Angela. And now, as people speak, you're showing up on our screen. I don't know what happened, but technology has changed.
Okay,
So, Angela,
perfect. Perfect. Can you can hear me?
hear you and see you.
Perfect. Good, good, good. So the first item for the Education Committee is the minutes from the October 12th, 2022 meeting, which are on pages 33 to 38 of your agenda package. So I'd like to make a motion that the minutes be of the Education Committee meeting of October 12th be received for information.
A seconder, please.
Karen.
Thank you. Any objections? Passed.
Okay, the next item is item number 10.2.2, the Caledonia Secondary School out-of-country field trip application, which is on pages 39 through 43. So the background on that is that attached is the out-of-province field trip application for Caledonia Secondary School's travel club to the British Isles planned during spring break of March 18th through the 31st, 2023. It was received at the October 12th Education Committee meeting, and it's for the board's information. A synopsis or summary of the out-of-country field trip is also provided and is attached. On June 22nd, 2021, the board approved in principle the above mentioned field trip in accordance with policy 1080, field trips and outdoor education. Final board approval is required for this level 5 field trip within the submission of the completed field trip application to the board within 120 days of departure. In order to meet the prescribed approved timeline, the completed field trip application required the Education Committee review and consideration at its October 12th meeting, then forward to the regular board meeting for board's approval today. The Education Committee recommended this out-of-country field trip application be forwarded to the board for approval. So I would like to move that the board approve the Caledonia Secondary School out-of-country field trip application to the British Isles, March 18th through 31st, 2023, at no cost to the board and subject to ensuring the safety of students and adhering to federal and provincial travel advisories throughout the travel dates.
I'll second it, Margaret Shar.
Thank you. Thanks, Shar. Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none, passed.
Okay, next item is 10.2.3, Hazelton Secondary School out-of-country field trip application. That's on pages 44 through 51. So the backgrounder is much the same. The attached out-of-province field trip application for Hazelton Secondary School to Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia, planned during spring break, March 20th to 31st, 2023, was reviewed by at the October 12th Education Committee meeting. For the board's information, a synopsis of the out-of-country field trip is provided. So on February 23rd, 2022, the board approved in principle the above mentioned field trip as attached. So in accordance with our policy, we need 120 days before departure. We need to have a completed field trip application. So in order to meet the prescribed approved timeline, the completed field trip application required the Education Committee to review it at our October 12th meeting, and we're forwarding it today. The Education Committee recommended this out-of-country field trip application be forwarded to the board for approval. So I would like to make the motion that the board approve the Hazelton Secondary School out-of-country field trip application to Southeast Asia, March 20th to 31st, 2023, at no cost to the board and subject to ensuring the safety of students and adhering to federal and provincial travel advisories throughout the travel dates.
Seconder, please.
It's
Ed,
Karen, I'll
thank you.
second.
Any questions? Any objections? Passed.
And the final item, 10.2.4, Mount Elizabeth Middle Secondary School out-of-country field trip applications on page 52 through 56. Backgrounder information. The attached out-of-province field trip application for Mount Elizabeth Secondary School to Paris and Italy, Milan, Florence, Rome, Pompeii, Sorrento, and Capri, planned during spring break, March 20th to 31st, 2023, was reviewed at the October 12th Education Committee meeting. For the board's information, a synopsis has been provided and is attached. So on February 23rd, 2022, the board approved in principle the above mentioned field trip, and we require, according to our policy 1080, that we have to have it at the board within 120 days of departure. In order to meet the prescribed approval timeline, the completed field trip application required the Education Committee review and consideration at our October 12th meeting, then forwarded to the board meeting for the board's final approval today. The Education Committee recommended this out-of-town field trip application be forwarded to the board for approval. So I would like to make a motion that the board approve the Mount Elizabeth Middle Secondary School out-of-country field trip application to Paris and Italy, March 20th to 31st, 2023, at no cost to the board and subject to ensuring the safety of students and adhering to federal and provincial travel advisories throughout the travel dates.
Seconder, please.
Karen,
Ed,
I'll second.
Ed just beat you to it just there. Any questions? Any objections? Passed. Thank you, Trustee Angela. We will now move to 11.1 and have our acting secretary treasurer present what's on page 57 and 58.
Whoa, you got me going then.
Yeah.
I've got to open up the page and shut it down. Here we go. So for information attached, please find the updated provided by the Secretary Treasurer Fuller regarding the 2022 General School Trustee election results for the Coast Mountain School District 82. You want me to read the recommended action?
Yes, please, as a motion. Well, go ahead as a recommended action and I'll get a motion for it.
Okay, lovely. That the board receive the information for the 2022 General School Trustee election results updated as presented.
Could I have a motion to receive this information?
I'll move the motion, Margaret Shar.
Shar, thank you. Seconder? Ed is nodding. Any objections? Pass. Thank you. This is a challenge. Okay. Trustee reports. I have my report attached into your agenda. And I just wanted to make one further comment in terms of thanking all of our outgoing trustees. As trustees, we have decided that what we would like to do is be honored by donating to each of the schools that we represent some monies that the principal can then use as they wish in their schools. And there's been many ideas floated out, everything from Indigenous Day to extra sports equipment to funding other special events, etc. So we leave that to the principals, but there will be a donation on behalf of those trustees that are retiring that way. So if I could have a motion to receive my report. Ed? He just has to look at me and he's going to get it done. A seconder, please.
I'll second. It's Sandy.
Thanks, Sandy. All in favor? No objections? Passed. We move now to trustee reports. Do any trustees have anything they wish to share?
I do. It's Sandy. I'll take the floor first because I'm sure that others are going to as well. So I want to say thank you to district staff, to superintendents throughout the years, to all of the trustees, to the students, to everybody in the district for making the last, 6 years exciting and a great learning opportunity. My hope for the board coming in is that they will continue to put students' needs first, regardless of race, gender identity, socioeconomic levels. My hope is that personal politics will be left outside and that the board can focus on the importance of the learners and providing the best education that we can. My special goodbyes to the Thornhill schools. I'm a little biased with those two schools, but thank you to the leadership there that always welcomed me with honesty and respect, and I've had lots of great conversations with all the staff there, and I'm going to really miss them. So, and I'm going to miss these Wednesday nights. Wish everybody the best, and with all the future endeavors, you never know, I may pop on every once in a while and see what's going on.
Thanks, Sandy. Other trustees?
I'm going to hop on, Margaret, just because I want to go so I don't cry. So I want to echo what Sandy said, because you said it really well, Sandy. I hate it when you take the words out of my mouth, but really well said. And I'd just like to thank everybody in School District 82, and especially the students and the staff for supporting us for the last 8 years and believing in us most of the time. And it was a really honor to serve the district and all of the communities in which we represented, and all the students and all the staff. It was really good and overall. And I really appreciate it and feel that as a Board of Education in our current way, that we really did see and focus on students first. And we did leave our other stuff at the door. And I have to commend my fellow trustees for doing that. That wasn't always easy for us. So thank you to the rest of you. And for those that have to uphold that, and for the new trustees coming in, my wishes are similar to Sandy's, that you keep students in the forefront and that's your focus. I'm really excited about how we're progressing with supporting Indigenous learning and our Indigenous students. And my hope is that one day there is no variance on the achievements of students, that everyone is achieving at the level that they need to be achieving at. I really wish and want the continuation of supporting communities and building those collaborative relationships at all levels, which we've worked so hard to do. We need to continue that path. You need to. And ensure equity everywhere, equity in all our schools. And of course, like Sandy has her favorites, I have my favorites. I've been here advocating for all students, but of course, with the special Hazelton Upper Skeena region students, that there was equity, and that's how I got into this. So I hope that those that are moving forward, and for the new trustees, that they can uphold those standards and ensure that there is equity across the district for all the kids, because we really have to do that. And the best of luck to you all, and we will miss you, and you never know, I might check in on you too one day. Thank you.
Other comments from trustees? Anybody else wish to speak?
Well, I might as well jump in too. This is Angela. I just want to thank, I'm not going to say much more because both Sandy and Shar captured it very well. It's been a great, this 8 years for me has been wonderful. We had, obviously, wasn't without our challenges. Everybody's well aware of the challenges that we had. It wasn't always smooth sailing. But knowing that the staff and at the board level and at all school levels has been absolutely first rate. Everybody's passion is very, very evident, and it's very much appreciated. It makes our jobs easier, and it makes them enjoyable, knowing that everybody is got students first and students' best interests at heart. And I just appreciate, I really, really appreciate work with everybody. And I look forward to many more great things to come from the school district, because it's just going to continue to grow and be better. And we will get the recruitment and retention thing figured out, or you guys will. So we appreciate that. I appreciate what you guys are going to do. And I look forward to continuing to work with you in my old life new again. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Last comments or last trustees? We had no questions come forward, but does the audience wish to say anything? Yes.
I was just wanted to ask Robert on his report. He had the Ministry of Education and Childcare visit. I was curious, would there have been a space in there for the Gitxsan Children and Family group to also have been a part of that meeting?
It was specific to a letter that was addressed to the minister, so it was a specific complaint, which we were meeting on. It was, yeah. Oh,
I see. Okay, yeah, because I know that our at the high school, our level of attendance is quite low. Off like throughout the day, different kids come the days, and I just was thinking that children and families may play a part, but I didn't really know what that was about. Okay.
We've had a meeting with the Northwest Child Development Center of Smithers, and we know that we're going to have lots of conversations with different community agencies as we continue to understand what wraparound supports required in our students.
Great,
thanks for the question.
Other comments or questions? If not, I can call for adjournment.
Thank you for coming here.
You're welcome. It's good to see you again. Okay, adjournment, please. Call. Ed, so we move to adjourn. We're adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you for coming.
Oh,
Glad there was more.
Staying, that's right.